Right now, beneath the feet of 3 million people in southern Italy, something ancient is waking up. And I don't mean recently ancient. I mean 109,000 years ancient. A force so old, it predates human civilization, predates written language, predates almost everything we call history. In February of 2025, a team of scientists published findings that quietly sent shockwaves through the global volcanology community. They had found evidence of a volcanic eruption from Campi Flegrei, 109,000 years ago, that nobody knew existed. An eruption so massive it blanketed the entire Mediterranean in ash. Turkey, Greece, the Balkans, North Africa. All of it covered. All of it darkened. But here is the part that made scientists go quiet. When they mapped the timeline, 109,000 years ago, then 40,000 years ago, then 1538, a pattern appeared, a cycle, a rhythm. This volcano has been following for over 100,000 years. And when they placed today's data on that same timeline, the numbers lined up. The ground has risen 140 centimeters since 2005 alone. The earthquakes in 2024 and 2025 were the strongest ever recorded at this volcano in modern history. The fumaroles at Solfatara are releasing 5,000 tons of CO2 every single day. A record. Every single warning sign that appeared before the last 3 eruptions is appearing right now in real time in 2025. This is not a theory. This is not a simulation. This is a pattern that this volcano has followed for 109,000 years. And right now, we are inside it. Her name is Giada Ferranda. She is a doctoral researcher at Sapienza University of Rome. And on an ordinary Tuesday morning in January 2025, she is looking at a thin, white band of rock. Pulled from deep inside the earth, this white layer is volcanic ash. Old ash. Ancient ash. Istiombe. And when her team ran the chemical analysis, matched the mineral fingerprint against every known eruption in the Mediterranean database, nothing came back. Her name is Giada Fernandez. She is a doctoral researcher at Sapienza University of Rome, and on an ordinary Tuesday morning in January 2025, she is staring at something that is about to make every volcanologist on the planet go completely silent. It is a thin white band of ash pulled from hundreds of meters below the Mediterranean seafloor. Her team ran the chemical analysis. They matched the mineral fingerprint against every single known eruption in the global volcanic database. And the result came back with something nobody expected. No match, no record, no documentation anywhere in modern science. This ash layer, sitting right there in her hands, was from an eruption that the entire scientific world had completely missed. Think about that for a second. We have satellites. We have deep ocean drilling. We have geological databases going back millions of years. And somehow, a V7 supervolcanic eruption from Campi Flegrei had been sitting hidden in the Earth's memory when Fernandez's team published their findings in Communications Earth and Environment in January 2025. The volcanic research community did not celebrate. They got concerned. Because this discovery did not just add a data point to history, it revealed something far more uncomfortable. Campi Flegrei has erupted at V7 magnitude, not once, but at least twice that we now know of. 109,000 years ago, then again 40,000 years ago. Same volcano, same scale, same destruction, cry. And between those 2 eruptions, the volcano went completely quiet for tens of thousands of years. Silent, patient, building. I want you to stop right here and think. Because this is the question I need you to answer in the comments below, and I genuinely want to know what you think. If this volcano erupted twice before at this exact scale, and both times the warning signs were identical to what we are seeing right now in 2025. Does that change how seriously you take what is happening in Italy today? Tell me below. Because your answer matters more than you think. 109,000 years ago, there are no humans here as we know them. No cities, no governments, no warning systems. Just Neanderthals, our closest ancestors, living across Europe, hunting, surviving, completely unaware of what is building beneath southern Italy. The eruption column shoots 40 kilometers into the sky. The sound alone would have been heard across the entire continent. Within hours, the sky across the Mediterranean darkens completely. Ash begins falling. In Turkey, in Greece, in the Balkans, in North Africa. Not light ash, dense, suffocating, horizon-blocking ash that blocks sunlight for months. Temperatures across Europe drop. Vegetation dies. Food chains collapse. Scientists have now identified this eruption. They call it the Maddaloni X6 event. 148 cubic kilometers of magma released in a single catastrophic event. Fuck you des. Thence. To put that in context, the 1980 Mount St. Helens eruption that shocked the entire world released just 1 cubic kilometer. This was 148 times bigger, and nobody, not a single person alive today, knew it had happened until January 2025. Here is what I genuinely cannot stop thinking about, and I want you to tell me in the comments if this hits you the same way it hit me. We discovered this eruption in 2025. It happened 109,000 years ago. And this year, which means for our entire recorded human history, every civilization, every empire, every scientist who ever studied this volcano, nobody knew this eruption existed. What else are we missing? What other warnings are buried beneath our feet right now that we simply have not found yet? Drop your answer below, because that question does not have a comfortable answer. The volcano went quiet after the first eruption, completely silent. For 70,000 years, nothing. No earthquakes, no ground uplift, no fumaroles screaming, just stillness. And the ancient world slowly forgot. The ash settled into the earth. The forests grew back. Life returned. And then, 40,000 years ago, Campi Flegrei decided it was time again. The ground swallowed itself. And in its place, a crater 9 miles wide and 2 miles deep opened up where solid earth had stood just moments before. That crater, that 9-mile wide scar burned into the surface of the earth 40,000 years ago, is the exact same caldera where 400,000 people are living right now today in 2025. 200 cubic kilometers of magma erupted in hours. Pyroclastic flows. Walls of superheated gas and rock, traveling at 60 miles per hour at 1400 degrees Fahrenheit, swept across the landscape in every direction. There was no outrunning it. There was no shelter from it. Everything in its path vaporized. The ash cloud reached Eastern Europe. Layers have been found in Ukraine, in Romania, in the Black Sea. Scientists believe this single eruption, this one event from this one volcano, contributed directly to the extinction of the Neanderthals. A gap. Neanderthal artifacts, tools, bones, they appear below the ash layer consistently across dozens of sites. And then above the ash layer, they disappear. Not gradually, not slowly. They just stop. Now I need to stop here, because I have been thinking about this constantly, and I genuinely want to know if you feel the same way. We are talking about a volcano that has already caused the extinction of an entire human species once before. Not weakened them. Not displaced them. Extinct. Gone forever. And this same volcano, right now in 2025, is showing the exact same warning patterns it showed before its last two mega eruptions. Two mega eruptions, two civilizations affected. One thin white line in the rock for the first. One yellow ignimbrite layer across an entire continent for the second. And right now, in real time, the same volcano is building its third chapter. And we are the ones living inside it. Before we talk about right now, before we talk about 2025, I need to take you to one specific night in history. Because what happened on the night of September 29th, 1538, is the single most important warning this volcano ever gave us. For weeks before that night, the ground around Pozzuoli had been shaking. Small earthquakes, dozens every single day. The harbor water was warming up. Locals reported a sulfur smell getting stronger every morning. The ground itself was visibly rising. Fishermen noticed their boats were sitting higher than usual. The sea was retreating from the shore. People were uncomfortable, but they stayed, because this was their home. At 8 p.m., the earth cracked open between the town and the lake, and over the next 6 days, a brand new volcano rose 130 meters out of flat ground, from nothing, in 6 days. Eyewitness accounts from the time describe it exactly by the morning of September 30th. It was gone, swallowed, buried, erased from the surface of the earth overnight. It has never been excavated. It has never been recovered. It is still down there, right now, underneath Monte Nuovo. Frozen in 1538 exactly as it was the moment the ground took it. And now I want you to really sit with this. Because this is the part of this story that I think about at 2 a.m. and I genuinely cannot shake it. The warning signs before the 1538 eruption were exactly this: ground rising, earthquakes increasing daily, fumaroles getting hotter, sulfur smell intensifying, sea retreating from the harbor. And right now in 2025, the ground has risen 140 centimeters. Earthquakes in 2024 and 2025 were the strongest ever recorded here in modern history. Fumarole temperatures are at all-time record highs. The harbor at Pozzuoli has boats sitting on grass because the ground rose so much the sea retreated. Tell me honestly, in the comments right now, does that list of warning signs sound familiar to you? Because it should. Same volcano. Same warning signs, 487 years apart. And the question that nobody in the Italian government wants to answer publicly is whether this time there is a third chapter coming. I want you to forget the science for a moment. Forget the numbers. Forget the ash layers and the geological data. I want you to meet the people who are living this right now, today, in real time. After the March 2025 earthquake swarm, over 200 families in the red zone of Pozzuoli were told to leave their homes immediately. They packed what they could carry. They walked out of their front doors. And many of them are still waiting to go back. If your home, your memories, your entire identity was tied to this place, and scientists told you the ground beneath you is cracking, would you leave everything behind? Or would you refuse to go? Tell me in the comments. Italy has a plan. An official government evacuation plan for Campi Flegrei. It has color-coded zones. It has designated roads. It has official documents with official stamps and official signatures. It looks, on paper, completely prepared. But here is the reality that those official documents do not mention. The designated evacuation roads out of the red zone pass directly through Naples, one of the most congested cities in all of Europe. Giovanni Macedonio, the lead scientist at INGV who monitors this volcano every single day, was asked directly in a 2025 interview, what happens if a pyroclastic flow hits while people are still evacuating? Tell me in the comments, does it change how you feel about this knowing that the people responsible for monitoring this volcano are openly admitting the evacuation plan will not work in time. 3 eruptions, 3 warnings. 3 times this volcano followed the exact same pattern. Ground rising, earthquakes intensifying, fumaroles screaming, gases reaching record levels, and then silence, followed by everything ending for whatever world existed above it at that moment. Since 2005, the ground has not dropped a single centimeter. Not once. For 20 years, it has only gone up. 140 centimeters of rise, and accelerating. The January 2026 data from INGV shows the uplift rate is not slowing down. It is not stabilizing. It is speeding up. And right now, tonight, 400,000 people are sleeping inside that crater. 3 million more within 20 miles, going about their lives, putting their children to bed, making dinner, watching television. Here is the final question I want to leave you with, and I want you to really think about this before you answer in the comments. Not a quick reaction. Actually think. We now know this volcano has done this before. Twice, at civilization-ending scale. We now know the warning signs are identical to what we are seeing right now. We now know the evacuation plan has been described as insufficient by the scientists running it. So, who is responsible for what happens next? The scientists who published the warnings? Same volcano, same cycle, same signs. Same signs. The only thing different this time is that we know it is coming. And the most terrifying question of all is whether knowing is already too late. If this story made you stop and actually think, you already know there are people out there who need to see this. And if you want to be update Campi Flegrei, subscribe right now.